Congratulations! You're either kicking off your mesh Wi-Fi network journey by standing up your first mesh Wi-Fi network, or you're continuing your journey by setting up an additional network. In this episode, I'm going to walk through all the steps you need to follow to set up a mesh Wi-Fi network. I'll be setting it up with a TP-Link Deco BE25 device, but keep in mind, if you have a different model of TP-Link, or if you have a different manufacturer entirely for your mesh Wi-Fi network, the steps here will be pretty similar. All right, before we jump into the steps here, let's talk about everything you need in order to set up a mesh Wi-Fi network. First and foremost, you need an active internet plan with your internet service provider or ISP. If you haven't signed up for a monthly plan yet with your ISP, you need to go ahead and do that first. Secondly, you need a modem that has been registered with your internet service provider and your internet plan. If you haven't done this yet, this is no big deal. I've previously made a video that details exactly how to do this, so you'll want to check that out first. Additionally, you need your TP-Link BE25 mesh node. Obviously, if you have a different mesh node, that's what you need. You need a power cable for that node so you can plug it in and power the device. Also, you'll need an Ethernet cable to connect your modem and your mesh node that you'll be setting up. Most devices will come with an Ethernet cable, but if your device did not come with an Ethernet cable, you'll need either a Cat5e or a Cat6 Ethernet cable. That'll work just fine. And then lastly, the thing that you need a mobile device, so that way you can download the app that will help you setting up your mesh Wi-Fi network. All right, now that we have everything we need and everything is in place, we can go ahead with setting up our mesh node. The first thing we need to do is we need to download the TP-Link Deco app. I have an iPhone, so I'll be showing you these steps on my iPhone, but let's walk through these steps now. All right, the first thing we need to do, we need to open the App Store. Under search, you can search for TP-Link Deco. Hit search. Here it's the second one down right here, TP-Link Deco. We want to download that app. We'll give it a minute to download and then we'll jump to the next step. Once it's downloaded, we need to open the app. Sure, it can send us notifications. We need to confirm and accept the agreements here, so select both of these and select continue. Allow Deco to find devices on your local networks. Sure, we'll go ahead and allow that, so that way the device can find our local mobile devices that can connect to it. Here, if you already have a TP-Link ID, like if you have previous TP-Link devices that you've already registered and created an account for, you can go ahead and use that. Otherwise, you'll need to create a new account. So go ahead and follow that step now. Once you have an account set up and you're signed in, you can go into the Deco app. I previously have set up another mesh Wi-Fi, but because we're setting up a new mesh Wi-Fi network, I want to hit the plus sign up here in the top right. Then I want to select create a network. Okay, the mesh node at this point is asking you to plug in your Deco device into the power outlet. But at this point, I want to show you what it looks like if you're replacing your standalone router or you're just upgrading the mesh node that you have that's connected to your modem. What you first need to do, you have your modem and your router connected to each other with an Ethernet cable. Let's say they're both currently powered on because that's how you're getting your Wi-Fi network. What you first need to do is you need to disconnect both these devices, and then you need to disconnect this router from your modem. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's disconnect the power cord from your router. We'll do the same thing with our modem. And then our router is connected to our modem with this Ethernet cable, so let's unplug this. Now your standalone router, it's totally disconnected. You can put it off to the side because you won't be needing it. Now with all that in place, you have your modem with an Ethernet cable still coming out of it. This was the Ethernet cable you disconnected from your standalone router. Your modem is powered off. Now let's take this Deco device. Let's connect the power cable and then connect it to an outlet. It's really hard to mess this step up. On the back of the mesh Deco device, there's only one place for the power cord. You connect that here. You connect the other end of the power outlet, so let's do that now. You'll see your Deco unit. This is a little light on the bottom. It will start to go through a few different statuses of lights. We want to give it time until we see a blue light, and then we'll go to the next step here. All right, after about a minute or two, you see there's a pulsing blue light. We're now ready to move to the next step. So in our app, we'll click on the next step. Allow Deco to find Bluetooth devices. Sure, we'll allow that. Now it's asking me if I want to join this Wi-Fi network. An important thing to recognize is that the Wi-Fi network here listed on my mobile phone, you might just want to double check. It will say the SSID on the bottom of the device. I'll put a picture up so you see exactly what it looks like on the bottom of my mesh node, but you just want to make sure those match because that Wi-Fi network that's displayed on your mobile phone is the one that your Deco node is broadcasting. Once we've confirmed that this Wi-Fi network is the same one that our node is broadcasting, we want to select join. If you wait too long, it'll time out, so we'll select try again. And then we want to connect, we want to join this Wi-Fi network, we select join. It will give us a notification that we're connected to our Deco node. Of course, at this point, we want to set up the device. Here we connect our Deco node to our modem with an Ethernet cable. Here, again, this device came with an Ethernet cable, but I already have one connected to the back of my modem because I just disconnected my standalone router. So I can take this same Ethernet cable and connect it to the back of my Deco node. There are 2 Ethernet ports on the back of this device. It doesn't matter which one you use, so just select one and plug that Ethernet cable in. Then we know we're good to go. Select the next button in our app. Now it asks us to restart our modem. So all we have to do here, we're taking the power cord that we disconnected from our modem earlier, and we're just plugging it back in into the back of our modem. This will power it back on. You'll see the lights come on this device here. That power button is starting to blink. You'll see the other lights come on as it boots up. And let's give it a few minutes to boot up and then we'll go to the next step. Once our modem is giving us all green status lights, we can go ahead in our app and say the modem is fully restarted. We'll jump to the next step. Next, it's asking us where we want to keep our mesh node. Here you just identify the room that you're going to be keeping it in. This is mostly for tracking purposes. If the room you're looking for is not in this list, you can go down and select custom and enter any name you want to identify this mesh node. For me, I have a custom middle room that we're using as the identifier, so I selected that and we'll go to next step. Here you just want to make sure it says dynamic IP. You're good to go. You normally won't have to change anything and just select next. Now at this point, you can create the Wi-Fi network and password used to access that Wi-Fi network. A simple trick that I like to use is if you're replacing a standalone router in your home network, just use the same Wi-Fi network and password name that you previously used. That way all your devices, you don't have to reconnect them to a new Wi-Fi network with a different password. They should just automatically reconnect to the mesh node as long as that network name and the password are exactly the same as what was used on that previous router. Go ahead and enter that information here and then we'll select next. Now it's going to take a minute to create your Wi-Fi network, so we'll give it a few minutes and then we'll see what it looks like. Now it's asking you to join that Wi-Fi network name that you identified, so you select join, and then you'll be connected to the new Wi-Fi network that you've set up for this mesh node. All right, congratulations. You now have your main mesh node set up. The app is asking you if you have additional mesh nodes that you'd like to set up at the same time. You can go ahead and do so now. All you need to do is you need to connect the power adapter to the mesh node and then connect the mesh node to a power outlet to power it on. One thing to keep in mind is that those devices need to be put in a location that are within the Wi-Fi range of the Wi-Fi network that this main node is broadcasting. So just keep that in mind. Those nodes need to be able to communicate with each other, so they need to be within the range of this Wi-Fi network. The app kind of hints at this by saying that the distance between the nodes shouldn't be more than 2 rooms or 2 walls that it has to go through. You can just guess and check here. You can give it a shot, see if the node will set up correctly. If not, you might be a little too far away and you might want to change the location. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and set up another mesh node just to show you what it looks like. Once those additional nodes are plugged in and they have that blue blinking light, you're ready to select next on the app. Again, another important thing to keep in mind, you don't have to do one node at a time. If you bought a 3-pack of nodes, you can connect those 2 other nodes in different rooms at the same time, and then you go ahead and select next in this application. So let's go ahead and select next. Here it says plug in all Deco units. We've already done that, so we'll select done. Here on the app, it now shows that you have 2 mesh nodes connected to each other. And if you go and you look at that other mesh node, the additional mesh node that you set up, you'll see that the light has now turned blue because it's set up properly and it's communicating with this main mesh node. At this time, you can make changes to the Wi-Fi settings if you don't like the initial setup. You click Wi-Fi settings, you can change the Wi-Fi network name and password that's being broadcast from your mesh nodes. You can just use this app at this point to maintain and administer your mesh Wi-Fi network. All right, at this point you have a working mesh Wi-Fi network. Keep in mind, you can always add additional nodes through the app if you further expand your mesh Wi-Fi network or you move to a bigger home. Also keep in mind too, your main node and your additional nodes that you stand up, there are different ways to have them communicate with each other. You can do it wirelessly or through a wired connection if you want better performance. I'll detail that in a different video, but for now, everything is working properly. Give your mesh Wi-Fi network a test drive and let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to see if this video helped you stand up your mesh Wi-Fi network. And as always, thanks for watching this episode from Network from Home, and we'll catch you on the next one.